Hem. Hem hem. Hi, everybody. Hi, Justin Zagri. It's a Simpsons thing. Man, as the new year started, I was like, okay, so what are some things that I need to do? And I was like, wait a minute, I haven't done commentary for Wizarding War episodes 11 and 12. I was supposed to get that done at some point last year. Didn't happen, but it's happening now. Darn it. I'm a little sick, so we're gonna do our best here, but it might involve some Ricolas, some coughing, maybe even a little bit of burping. I'm so sorry, but it is what it is. So I'm looking forward to it though. Episodes 11 and 12 were almost a year in the making, partially because of COVID, partially because 11 was so big. And we actually, if I recall correctly, finished 12, episode 12, a few months before 11, because it was a much shorter episode, and I recorded the majority of 12 first. 11 required a lot more recording from larger cast groups, and then after the pandemic started, after waiting it out, I realized, so I'm probably not going to be able to get back into the studio. So I probably just got to record people one at a time, like the worst kind of way to make these things, but it's what we had to do. So it's what we did. But I say we get right back in. I say we get into it. But Doom. I sometimes like to come back to this episode because it's it just has a lot of really pleasing sounds. It's very fun. Also, this is a long episode, so I'm going to be pausing here and there to like kind of explain things or kind of like talk about whatever I want to talk about. And it's a little quieter, so that way my voice, overrides the overrides the video. And I think this is the first. This episode and episode 12 are the ones that say produced by Morgana Ignis. I was very happy for her when her transition was complete.
Where's my clothes?
Yes, I had them have sex.
Hey, you awake?
Hi.
But
But it is not the time that they conceived Harry, as many commenters thought
That's what it was.
happened.
Wait, the fight.
I have a strange urge for a cigarette.
A cigarette? What?
Oh, just something muggles do. It's best you don't know.
It's kind of fun screwing around with
We slept through it, James.
the
Nowhere to get back to, so
the aspects
You wanted
of
to stop,
Muggle
right?
culture that wizards don't know about. So
Look,
like James has never
I
heard of
don't
a
regret
cigarette.
myself,
James doesn't
but
know
it
what a
shouldn't
motorcycle is. Things
Well,
like that.
I
It's
don't
fun.
regret anything, and maybe what happened was a good thing.
You're in the middle of a war, and things like this aren't appropriate.
Maybe they're the most appropriate. Better to live as much as you can, knowing you might die any day.
I'm not going to use that as an excuse to get back together.
Then what do we need to do?
You don't give up, do you?
I love the
Clear
blankets
enough?
that were used. It makes me think that like the
You don't
blankets
trust me.
themselves were moving around.
Right. How do I not trust you?
You didn't when you attacked Severus.
It always comes back to
That's right, and that's the problem. You can't let him go. You can't trust that I let him go.
You said you hope to see him again.
And I do. I hope he changes for the better, and I will welcome it if he does.
He's a Death Eater.
And like what she's trying to say is that
He
she's
was a
willing to
threat
forgive
you,
him,
to me,
but it
to
doesn't
everyone.
necessarily mean
And now we know what
that
he's doing
she
for them, and
is happy to be
what's
his
at
friend
stake?
again.
I can never let him near you.
Maybe I could have explained
Maybe
that a
that's the
little
real
bit more,
issue.
but
You won't let him. You
sometimes
won't
it takes
let
up too
me. You
much
won't let
time
anyone just
to.
be. You need to control what's going on around you. You feel the need to be a shield for me when I've never asked for one.
Sometimes it like I paused it so I can explain this a little bit more. Sometimes feeling the need to explain yourself a lot can lead to over explaining, and I just some people were like, so would she have forgiven Snape or not? And I said, yes, I think she would have, but I also think she wouldn't have become his friend again. And that's the point I was trying to convey here, is that she has an enormous capacity for compassion and forgiveness, but she also knows how to set boundaries. So that's what I thought would have happened.
I just can't wrap my head around why you won't let me protect you. Isn't that what I'm supposed to do?
What about me protecting you?
What about me protecting you?
Never even occurred to you, did it?
That was a really important point.
Alright, maybe it didn't.
How about protecting each other? At each other's side? That's the only way this is going to work, James. You
As
have
equals.
to let me live my life. You have to let me choose. I choose to protect you because I do love you. But if you make the choice for me to be protected, I can't be me.
I
He's
think I can do that.
a little bit controlling, that one.
I can try. I can try my best.
Then I'm willing to give this another shot. You all right?
I love her little giggle there.
It's just... It's amazing how you help me see things differently.
Glad I can help.
Call back to Snape and the
Let's
Marauders.
head on back.
Kind of letting letting the audience know one of the deeper reasons why Lily,
The oil seems to be a
why James loves Lily so much.
Indeed. No known spell should be able to break it.
You know, Severus, we could get someone else to distribute the potion. You don't have to put yourself at such great risk.
I'm the only one who knows how to distribute it properly, Professor. Besides, the Dark Lord recruited me personally.
He came to you.
Yes.
Good. Good. Severus, I was wondering if we could speak. Just the two of us. As people.
So this is where basically I wanted Luther to try one last time to convince Snape to get out of the Death Eaters. But he was basically fighting an uphill battle. Now, in the last time he tried this, or was like on his way to influencing or manipulating Snape into getting out of the Death Eaters, I wanted it to be kind of an important scene for the audience to take in. Important for everyone to understand how much of a father figure Luther is to Snape. But this scene, he tries again, but he's just not doing a very good job because now Snape's in kind of the point of no return. He's accepted a job from Voldemort, and you don't say no to Voldemort, as Luther himself said. But this is where Luther starts to get a little bit desperate, and I purposefully did not add music here, despite it being a relatively intimate conversation, for that reason.
What is it?
I just need to know why you are doing this.
Ricola.
Is this a test of some kind?
No, it's an honest question.
Do you doubt my loyalty?
Not at all. But I wonder the reasoning for your loyalty.
I don't understand. It's...
Are you doing this out of commitment to your ideals, out of passion, or out of fear?
I am committed to the Dark Lord, Professor.
But why, Severus? Why are you committed?
Why are you asking me?
I need to know you are here because you truly want to be.
Do you want to be here?
So Snape's deflecting
There is no other
because he doesn't really have a reason. And someone brought up an interesting point
conviction in you.
in comments or someone said a lot of people who are part of supremacist groups don't really have an answer to that question, like a deep answer.
So important, Severus.
They have pre-written answers that groups that they join like tell you to say, but
Can you honestly?
are they part of it because they really believe in it?
I don't.
He can't answer the question, and I thought that was interesting.
I don't feel that I have a choice. I know.
Or that too. They feel like they're backed into a corner.
I know what this potion means for me. And I can't imagine me without my... But I don't see another way out.
I want to talk
If
more
I
about
refuse,
that line. I
I'm
can't
dead.
imagine me without my...
If I join the
He
other
means to say
side, I'll
magic.
never
I want
be
to talk
truly
more about that.
welcomed. If I truly knew where I belonged, no one would welcome me.
So yeah, he just feels like he's backed into a corner.
I am a monster. Most of us here are. Someone like Malfoy, he fights for power. Bellatrix, she fights for the sheer enjoyment of it. You,
And she does.
you are not yet one of these monsters. Things haven't become clear to you.
When did it become clear to you?
When I saw what the Dark Lord was capable of. When I saw how his influence affected my will.
He's referring to something specific. He just won't say.
I don't see you as a monster, Professor. I see you as the only person who trusted me and embraced me as a friend. My only friend.
This is about as vulnerable as Snape gets. Maybe I should have added music here.
Truly saw me as a friend.
Do you really think that?
Professor, I think I need to be alone.
Severus,
Please.
all right. But just one more thing. Should you change your mind, you needn't worry about punishment from the Dark Lord. I'm a part of this to the end. You aren't. If you wish to change your mind, I can help.
He's taking a big risk by saying that. He's basically saying, I'll help you get out. But what he means is, I'll help you join the right side. So this was fun. We hear the footsteps, and it's Snape walking through the hallways and corridors of Malfoy Manor. And I told Sound Design Jordan to kind of play with the stereo of this. It comes from right to left, gets louder, then gets quieter as he walks away from them. Creates a little bit of motion in this.
You must have an idea. Aren't you speaking with the Dark Lord now? I am. He only informs me what I need to know. Bella, this is my husband. He couldn't possibly. I have no idea where his loyalties lie, other than his obsession with trinkets and status. His family has always walked the line for the sake of self-interest. I do know him, and his loyalty has never been in question.
It was fun writing Bellatrix in a more intelligent tone. Not to say she wasn't intelligent in the books. She just didn't see her very much, and she was already really crazed
What are you doing with Luther's
after
wand,
being
Dobby?
in
So sorry, Mr. Snape.
Azkaban for
Dobby is just doing his order. Who ordered you?
12 years.
What are you doing here? Dobby was just ordered to find anything suspicious about Master Luther. Dobby was just testing the wand for its most recent spells.
Just yellow sparks. Now get out of here.
But Master Snape, this isn't Luther's wand. It belongs to his...
Get out now!
More hinting. What is it? Who are we talking about? Who knows? It's I feel like it was getting pretty obvious at this point as to what's going on with Luther.
Merlin.
It was kind of late in the game that I decided that Dobby was going to be a crucial part of the plot.
James.
Thanks, Lily.
I'm so sorry.
And I'm really glad I did.
Is there anything we can do for you? Honestly, Peter, it's just going to take time. But I know where I need to be now. Besides, the way things are going these days, they might outlive us. It's a poor attempt at humor.
Very poor.
Well, whatever happens tonight, I'm glad we're together again.
Me too, Enos.
Mooney will do fine.
And I am terribly sorry for my behavior all this time. Can you forgive me, lads?
You'll always be a bloody fool.
I have to ask, how did you come up with those names?
How did they?
We wanted something obscure for the map.
Well, it's not terribly clever.
Oh,
It is, isn't- right?
because no one,
There's no
everyone
really
knows
name
we can
class
class
at all.
to animals.
What would you have us say?
Ooh,
I'll
James said
leave
that
the
kind of
cleverness to
loudly.
you.
Oh, speaking of the map,
How did you get that?
took a stroll down memory lane.
You cheeky.
Also, the name that the Marauders came up for Lily at the end was an inside joke
New leg.
between the cast members.
All right, you lot. Last meeting before we head out.
So, how's the leg? Metal.
What?
I canonize
Got a special assignment for you. Rest
Moody
of you
having a
head to
metal
the
leg.
kitchens.
In the book, it's wooden. I like metal.
We just got him back.
Comb your shag before you get fleas.
And I also like the idea that Moody knew that
Mr. Black,
Sirius was totally
a word.
Animagus.
Kingsley, right?
I may not officially be part of the Order, but as an intern of the Ministry or a department, I've been asked to keep an eye on potential problems within the Order. On behalf of the Ministry, I'll be keeping an eye on you.
Alright, so let's talk for just a second about Kingsley. Kingsley Shacklebolt was added by accident. I made a mistake as to whether or not he was even in the Order of the Phoenix the first time. He was in the second time. And people pointed it out. Something else that people pointed out as a mistake, which it wasn't, was that Molly Weasley was part of the Order. And I'm like, nowhere does she say she was part of the Order there. She just shows up to help out and provide food. That's all she's doing. She's not actually a part of the Order. But Kingsley was part of the Order, according to the script. So I had to change that, and that's where this came in, as saying he's not officially part of the Order, and he represents the Ministry as an intern. So there we go. That's that was how we fixed that mistake.
Great.
I was wondering, Mr. Lupin, would you be interested in recruiting your friends?
My friends are here.
Your other friends?
Oh, Mr. Moody, I don't think they're the fighting type.
They know what's at stake as well as the rest of us.
I would have fixed
And
that
you
fade.
know
I didn't
who's been
notice it
working on
before.
recruiting werewolves for some time.
I'm not very good at
We
QC.
need all the help we can get.
I can't guarantee anything.
All I ask is you try. All right, everyone. Dumbledore has a few words.
You all know your tasks. Keep the Death Eaters out of the
I
castle.
love the
and do not
the
let
voice
them
of
use
Dumbledore.
that potion under any circumstances.
It's fantastic voice actor.
As of tonight, the Ministry has lifted the unforgivable curses. I find it ghastly as well. Those curses leave a mark on you for life. But the Ministry deems this situation as too important. We have the castle fortified at every entrance, but we need a presence in the Forbidden Forest. That is where all of you come in. My source tells me a large portion of their force will be there tonight. Perhaps even the Dark Lord himself. And that is where I come in. If anybody sees him, fire yellow sparks.
Yellow
You
Sparks.
understand? This could all end tonight. Whatever happens,
Figuring out the right plot points in a audio medium only, no visuals, because the paintings are just supplemental. That was difficult. So the Yellow Sparks thing took a minute to try and figure out.
Miss Evans, you will serve as
That's why I love this
triage and
music.
Keep a close eye on me. We all know everything falls apart when I'm not on the front lines.
All right.
The rest of you will keep a tight perimeter. And you three, you're in the back.
What?
Wait, why?
You're still young.
I love the way that Zach says, why? Because Peter doesn't want to be there.
That's pure nonsense.
I need the ones that take orders up front. You three have yet to prove that to me.
It's fine. We'll help however we can.
That reminds me, Mr. Potter. When the meeting is up, I'd like a word with you.
Secret Dumbledore.
I'm getting all the important assignments.
Secret Dumbledore being
We'll
secret.
meet a group of Aurors who will be scouting the forest beforehand. We'll get the info we need from them, and spread out and engage the enemy where they might hide. If we destroy the potion, fire blue sparks. Fallback position is Hogsmeade.
Seriously, love the build up of the music. It's so fun.
We lose this place. If we lose, Hogwarts will. Well, I don't even want to think about it. Now, are you ready? Yeah! I said, are you ready? Yeah!
Oh, we have to do one more thing.
Me kidding, we don't have the time.
We might not get another chance. Everyone, gather round. We're going to take a quick picture.
I was very happy with this little moment.
Us three in the back, I assume.
Make 2 rows. Perfect. I'll just slip in here. Excellent.
And this was a last minute addition right here.
Someone's missing.
Sorry I'm late.
Hagrid,
Because I forgot Hagrid was in the photo.
where have you been?
Off on me own adventures. Let's get this over with, man.
So where was he? Oh, he was doing his own thing.
Great. In the back.
What were his adventures? I don't know. Someone else should write those adventures.
Okay. Everybody say Phoenix.
Do I say cheese?
Oh my Merlin. Just smile.
I love this one.
Keeping up, Peter.
This art.
Doing fine, James. But you should have seen him at St. Barnabas. He was brilliant.
I wish I was there before.
You're here now.
You think Remus will be successful?
He's the moral compass, right? He'll set that lot straight, too.
We're almost at the target area.
Moral compass of the Marauders.
Expect anti-air
I always like that always like that kind of like point of view in terms of Remus.
Eyes sharp, everyone.
Weren't we supposed to meet some Auras? I don't see them.
What do you think happened to them?
Stay vigilant.
Only cowards can't face us. Now, Gideon. We all know they're cowards to begin with.
Shh.
Do you see that? Looks like
How do you make the sound of fog?
Keep your wits about.
I don't know, but we figured it out.
See anything?
From the right! Spread formation!
We're surrounded.
Damn it.
Well, Hogwarts awaits.
I'm ready.
I have to pick up some more recruits. You can take it from here.
Professor, I see several Auras waiting.
You don't have to worry about the Auroras.
What do you mean? Aren't they...
Trust them.
This stuff got complicated because
Now, are you
I basically set up that the Aurors they were supposed to meet were kidnapped in Imperio.
stand?
But then I have to imply
And thank you, Luthor. I won't forget what you've done.
Best of luck, my boy.
it's their last sort of a last goodbye
My
as friends.
attacking.
Over here, Severus. I would be happy to escort you to your destination.
And that was my friend Mayumi. She was very excited to play that role.
You think I haven't tried?
Protego!
We've got to find them somehow.
But I can barely see in front of my face.
I can practice.
Now this was very important to me. I was like, I have to have a moment somewhere
can smell them.
where the Marauders get to use their animal forms to help out.
They can't see us. And as soon as we find whoever's keeping the fog
And
up,
when I
we
figured it
stand a
out,
chance again.
it was just the most
Just
exciting
run around
thing.
biting people's
I was like, the
ankles.
fog is
They'll be
there
able
to
hear you. Just point them out,
give
I'll do
the
rest.
Death Eaters an advantage, but
Let's get
it
to
allows
work.
the Marauders to turn into their animal forms without anyone else noticing. So it's perfect.
Like fish in a barrel. Did you hear that?
Quiet! I need to concentrate to keep this fog up.
Sounds like a filthy rat. Ah! My leg! Bellatrix, help me!
I have to keep this fire up!
Impaled my arm!
What the bloody hell was that?
Take cover!
I am back!
I can see that!
All right. Get after him!
Good times.
There's a Death Eater in the castle! Well aware, madam.
Now we're getting to the point of where there's a lot of extra voices around, and like those were the last things I did. So that was Liana. She's also oh my goodness, Mrs. Longbottom, and I'm Mr. Longbottom.
Wait. What does the Dark
But
Lord want with this?
there were also other frames that I played. There were other Death Eaters and wizards that just other cast members played. I was just like, I just need you to do this real quick, because there was just so many.
Over there! Kingsley's cornered! Right, help me lay down suppressing fire!
I'm with you. Moody, we'll give you an opening.
Much appreciated.
Oh dear. That's a lot more of them.
Get rid of Moody. Fire on Moody. Recover.
So I'm trying to show battle strategy here too. We got the two opposing forces. The Death Eaters are bringing in their reinforcements, and then Remus's werewolf forces come in.
Let's go.
Thank you. Serious.
Little mini character arc for Kingsley right there.
They're overtaking us!
Wait. To the east.
Put James down!
I stand corrected.
I love that bloody Moody. Severus, you know you can't do this. Hundreds of years of battle.
That's my voice.
We may just be painting.
That's Leona's voice again.
You are too. The Dark Lord.
I love this visualization of being in period. It's fantastic.
Indeed. He wants you to know your sacrifice will be remembered.
Also, that painting looks very terrified.
Isn't that wonderful?
Even Snape's uniform. I love it.
All with the Dark Lord.
Well, a man might be dissenting.
Severus, come with us!
We don't have to kill you. We can take you somewhere safe.
That was Alex the composer and Jordan the sound designer.
Who am I supposed to believe?
So this little moment here. Hear all the wind?
This fighting isn't going to end.
So just what I was trying to do there is like create a transition that I would usually do with a camera and with special effects, where the camera leaves Hogwarts and flies through the air and then lands in the Forbidden Forest, built to create some cool geography and to like create scale and epicness. I can't do that in an audio format, so me and Jordan did the best we could with the audio, and hopefully it worked. I don't know. I did a lot of experimenting with these.
Doing fine, Peter. Found you.
Oh, good to have you here with us, mate.
So what do we do now?
This fight is to keep everyone out of Hogwarts, but there's one person we haven't seen here.
It was fun to get people to like say their lines while they're fighting.
I see several auras on the map, and they're moving around a lot.
You're all just gonna sit behind a tree all night? Come on, get in the fight!
I found him! Snape's in the castle!
He's got auras escorting him.
Those must be the auras that went missing.
We have to get to him. We have to get in the castle.
No way we're getting through this, even with your commune.
James is around to remind you of the plot a lot. So I love this music, man.
Merlin.
The centaurs. They're here to help.
I don't think so.
They're attacking the auras.
And I love that I brought in the centaurs to just create total chaos. They're on nobody's side. They're just ripping everything apart, and it gives the Marauders the opportunity they need to get through and get to the castle.
See if we can clear a path. We'll take the front. You four keep the side.
Yeah, fly like a falcon, yeah.
Ready? You four better be worth it. Go!
Ah, what a terrible thing to say, but these two are about to die. And then we bring in the Marauders music, and this is their most heroic moment, for sure.
From above, right there, James. Ready on. God, great job.
There's one trained on Gideon.
Reducto. We're almost through.
This is where, after all of the struggles they went through, this is where they're peaking.
We know where Snape is.
Go with them. Druids!
Jim,
Some people asked what this was.
Reason we call St. Mungo's, the unstoppable force. But we're the immovable
That's
object.
Dolohov.
We can help you.
Dolohov and 4 other wizards were responsible for the Pruitts getting killed.
You heard the man.
Right. Let's go.
Ah, I see you can't fight your own battles. You need the crazy one, the impotent husband, and the twins.
So that's Bellatrix's husband and the twins. I cannot remember their name at the moment. The evil ones.
3 broomsticks clove, mate. Don't you know there's a war on?
I was trying to create can I create like kind of a terrible moment that's also kind of funny? Or like the moment this dude opens a door, he just gets Avada Kedavra and is dead. And then it happens again.
My lord, happy to be of service.
You have done well. Now, I will need you for the next part of this ritual. It will take some time.
Wonderful.
I love the music, man. It's just like the way... Again, like, what can I do? Die.
All right. Castle entrance, but no sign of ores. Check the map again.
Snape's heading for the astronomy tower, but he's moving slowly.
The pattern of the auras on the map looks erratic. Like some are moving with Snape and others are trying to flank Snape.
Some of them might not be on his side.
Yeah. All this complication was like, I gotta make sure that the dialogue is always make sure that we keep the audience from getting confused. It was not easy.
Try again. I think we can do it this time.
We have to.
James, 3 auras are... They're headed right for us! Cover!
All 3 at the right staircase.
Serious? We have to get to it!
Reducto!
Well done, Peter. I got his arms. Blimey, you're heavy.
My arm! Oh, bloody hell, that burns!
The map is showing more auras headed this way.
Sirius got one of the leg. He can't move much.
I can keep fighting. Oh, they hit my good arm!
We can hold them off, but I need to stay with them.
I can't take Snape alone.
Maybe I'm just a
I need to stay.
little bit of a dirty joke, but hit my good arm. Sorry.
We'll catch up when we can.
If I can get the potion.
Everyone was like, oh, Lily should have seen Snape at this point. I'm like, if Lily saw Snape at this point, Lily would have dropped his, or I'm sorry, Snape would have dropped his wand. So there's no way I could let that happen.
Covering fire now!
I wonder what it will be like having no magic.
You can still escape.
Oh, I don't think so. I was ordered to stay with you to the end.
One minor regret that I had with this series was I was working out like what's the main theme of this series, and the biggest one was kind of the most obvious one, and that was like, what is the effect of a war on people? And we definitely played with that a lot in the series. But when I came up with the idea of a potion taking away your magic, whether it be an area or a person or both, I was like, that raises a lot of questions. And when I thought about Snape having difficulty understanding his role or why he was part of the Death Eaters, I realized that the movie was really about what your identity is and what you mean to you. What you mean to yourself and other people. How do you define yourself? How do you identify on a deeper level? Especially with James Potter, who after the first episode or second episode was just so confused as to what to do with himself. He just didn't know what to do. He lost to Snape. All his friends lost trust in him. He almost lost Lily. And he just was so aimless. And so was Snape. So their arcs are about them figuring out their paths. But the losing magic part really opened that up. And it made me wish that I pushed the identity theme further and hinted at the no magic earlier. I didn't give any hint as to what this potion does until it's revealed. So one thing that I learned from this is, when you do figure out your theme for your story, do another rewrite and see where you can inject that theme more. Because I would have injected the theme of identity around being a wizard in a time of war more, and I would have hinted at what the potion does earlier.
That isn't necessary. Your loyalty has been noted.
Oh, it's not loyalty. It's quite a lovely thing, being Imperio. Well, here we are. The astronomy tower. I'm afraid this is where I must leave you.
You're not staying to keep me protected.
No, I'm afraid not. But I must say, I
love this scene.
Sorry.
Mayumi did a great job.
What are you talking about?
And he told me to tell you. He's sorry too.
So real quick, I loved directing Mayumi in this scene. She did a great job because I told her that she's dealing with two things. One, she's been imperioed by Luther, so she's kind of speaking for him, or even through him, or he's speaking through her. And two, I feel like even when you're imperioed, you kind of realize what's going on, and I can just imagine this Auror knowing that she's about to kill someone. So I told her, like, not only are you like speaking with enormous regret in your voice because Luther regrets having made the Luther feels very sad that he made the choice to kill Snape, but also she's like on the inside, like fighting really hard to not kill someone. So it's like bringing her to tears, and that's why I love that scene.
Snape!
Potter! But what about that aura?
Can't help you. Where's the potion?
What are you even doing here, Potter?
Severus, Lily is in the castle. You use that potion, you take away her ability to be a witch.
I'm not interested in hearing your lies, Potter!
Severus, you can't possibly want to do this.
I don't have a choice!
You do have a choice. You can choose to save this castle, save the wizarding world, help us end this war.
I would have brought up the stakes around the importance of Hogwarts itself earlier too.
I saved you from Remus.
So you wouldn't be exposed!
Only a little
admitted
earlier.
my wrongdoings in the forest.
To save face with Lily, admit it! You wouldn't miss my existence on this earth, not for a moment!
You know what, Snivy? You're right. I couldn't care less about you. I'm here to fight for the people I love, and you aren't one of them. But what you're doing, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. There is someone who still cares about you.
He's playing a lot of cards. He's trying. He's doing his very best. You could tell how much he's matured, but there is nothing that James can say at this point.
Just waiting on you.
And that's kind of the tragedy, is that
There is someone who cares about
the book is written on these two's relationship, and there's no way you can rewrite it.
choices out of fear or passion.
Now he doesn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do, but he's looking at James, and he's like, now I know why I'm here. I am here because I hate you.
If I have to die, I'll die happily knowing you went with me! Stupid Protego!
Also, this is just so well crafted. All I did was add their little grunts and groans. Sound and music did the rest. And of course, this amazing artist. Everything in the music related to Voldemort in that Alex did is just mwah, so good. This is also tough. So I pretty much said, without saying, that he's got the Sword of Gryffindor, but the really hard part was, how do I imply what he's doing without saying it?
Beat my conviction. You will never never beat how much I hate you, Potter.
Which, if anybody didn't catch, he's making a Horcrux.
Last time.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh man, that was not great.
I can't beat you, but I won't fear you.
A lot of debates between myself, Garrett, who played James, and other people about like, how can Snape beat James so easily, or how can James not beat Snape? I just always saw Snape as a far more powerful wizard, but that doesn't mean that James isn't.
True bravery is
Just
admitting
Snape's
to
on a
one's
prodigious level.
standing up to what I fear. You know, what I truly feared was you taking away what was most important to me. Lily is the most important to me. But I never should have feared that. If I had embraced you as a friend, you wouldn't be here today.
You don't know anything about me. You and I could never be friends. Now stay down! And watch. This castle, this war, you and I, our hatred, our lives.
I love how she did that.
They all end here.
Such a great performance there from her.
Severus! Hogwarts always provides for those who ask for it.
Also, transitioning between scenes was tough. This one sound was hopefully gonna give you the idea. The sword's disappearing. The sword is reappearing.
Sword?
The sword.
And then implying it breaks the potion bottle.
Where is the sword?
Oh, wow. Okay. Blue sparks. Oh,
You really did it.
Very subtle, tiny little oh shit thing.
I did. Hey, I did. And I did it sober this time. How about that? Whoa, 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 whoa!
Any chance I can get to like turn the sound off with these like heavy duty sound based podcast stories is a treat for me.
Right.
'Cause you don't expect it.
You're still here. And you did it.
Also, can you imagine how cinematic that would be? To just see those two fighting, falling down the side of Hogwarts. Oh,
Lost him in the woods when we
and then they apparate,
I saw you two
re-
fall.
and
How
re-
could you do that?
disapparate, and then apparate horizontally, and they're like, oof, 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 oof.
Technically, we weren't on school grounds.
Uh-huh. I'm sure that and the sword had nothing to do with Dumbledore meeting you.
That's classified. But I'm happy to debrief you later.
Well, we won. Might as well get a drink while we're here.
The fighting hasn't stopped, though.
Call him after
We
the storm
should
here.
Help.
Guys, that man over there, far end of town, looking at us.
Where?
At the three broomsticks with the white mask.
That's not a mask.
He's always described in the book as having his face being mask-like.
Stay back!
Also, Voldemort just staring down these four, and these four looking terrified. I would love to have shot that.
And your crew.
James, what do we do?
You hand me that sword.
Together?
And I might just consider your talents worthy of...
Fiend fire!
Yes, I'll make them do dark magic. Come at me, bro.
Hello, Sparks.
That's the signal! You'll know who's in Hogsmeade! Someone get to Dumbledore!
The penny drops.
Very impressive. Now...
I remember asking Jordan about this. I said, just make a whirlwind of pain. It should just sound like a whirlwind of pain.
Good evening, Tom.
Again, how do you make like an incredible reveal of Dumbledore appearing in front of Voldemort in an audio format? It would have been so much easier and effective in a visual format, but here we are. And then this here was also difficult to portray audibly, but they're creating a giant wall of magic between each other.
I don't know. Push as hard as you can. We can end this war right now.
And this is our big, bombastic finale. The opposing forces pushing back and forth. And then this was like, here's our chance, Alex, music composer. Here's our chance to be the biggest musically we can possibly be and add in some choir and just be ridiculously biblical about it. Here's our chance. And if you want to talk about the ultimate anti-redemption, it's Snape choosing to be with the Death Eaters by saving Voldemort's life. That to me, it was like, how can I have the ultimate way to, how can I have the ultimate way to show that Snape has truly turned to the Death Eaters and lets everybody know. Of course, Moody's never happy. But for me, it was like asking, what is something I can do to show that Snape is truly reached the point of no return, is completely irredeemable now? And I was like, what could he do? He could kill someone, sure. And in case you haven't watched episode 12, spoilers, I'm about to say something spoilery, he kills Luthor. But that's a story-driven moment that makes sense. I'm like, how do I set it up so Snape does something that makes the whole audience go, oh shoot. Man, only a Death Eater, a real Death Eater could do that. And that is save Voldemort. So I was really looking forward to that. Yeah, Morgana has entered the chat. Yes, Snape has been 100% become a dick. And I was just saying that Morgana did such an amazing job with that one line where it says, you know, Potter, there is, whatever the line was, there is someone who cared about me. And they asked me if I was doing things out of fear or passion. Looking at you, I feel nothing but passionate hatred. And I just loved that when he was saying, like, when she was recording it, I was just kind of like this, because I was just like, this is hilarious, because it's so poignant and pointed and nasty. And I was like, I could taste the poison coming out of her mouth right now. And I was just like, I love this. I love all of it. So, great job, Morgana. It's hard to hate Garrett. Garrett's such a wonderful person, but it's not hard for Snape to hate James. All right, moving on to chapter 12. Morgana bit him in the neck after recording. Well, I remember that, real quick, and then I'll play it. I remember that when we did the recording, you told Garrett, listen, your lines are all apologies, but I need you to speak to them as if you were hating me and looking down on me and thinking nothing of me, because I need that motivation to when I say what I'm going to say to you, to be truly full of hate and vitriol. And you did it, and it was great. Just because, like, Garrett got down on his knees, like, because they were in separate booths, but they could look at each other. So Garrett just got down on his knees to act like he was injured. But he just, as he was, like, reading the lines, he was just looked so nasty and rotten. And I was just like, well, there's your motivation. Like, he's pissing me off at this point. So go for it, Snape. And yeah, I'm really glad that we recorded everything, the majority of everything, in a single room.
Broad Strokes Productions presents The Great Wizarding War. Written by Justin Zagri and Garrett Schwackhauser, directed by Justin Zagri, produced by Morgana Ignis. Chapter 12. The Prince Anointed.
I'm very proud of that title. So a little moment here is I always wanted to have... I considered this an intermission between episode 11 and 12. And old movies would very often have... there's a word for it, but it's basically a bunch of music before the movie actually starts. I forgot the actual term, but I wanted to do that with this episode. It felt thematically important because it was like the episode coming off of a big bunch of crazy, stressful, adventurous battles. And also it was meant to like calm you down and get you ready for basically wrapping everything up. And also the Great Wizarding War video always shows like sparking embers, so I wanted this to be rising, comfortable looking embers to let you know that at least for now the war is not an issue. I must sound like I'm wearing swimming goggles.
If I could have everyone's attention, I just wanted to offer a toast to our new guests. Our friends at the Order of the Phoenix are welcome to stay as long as they need.
That was a little bit of a late idea. I was like, wait, where are they gonna go? Where are they gonna go to continue their operations if the Pruitts died?
And his friends for their part in saving what we all hold dear in this world.
Of course, the Potters would be happy to help.
To absent friends.
I can't keep things light for too long. Gotta remind you that war sucks and people have died.
Pruitts.
Specifically the Pruitts.
They were the only ones that could make me laugh. It took 5 Death Eaters to take them down. The brutality of what was done to them, well, it shouldn't be forgotten. They won't be forgotten. To Fabian and Gideon.
To Fabian and Gideon.
But we're not done. There's still much to fight for. Now eat and get fat while you can.
I don't know, I always saw Moody as a foodie type. That's why he said eat all the time in the previous episodes. Also, there's no way I couldn't have Molly in this series because Molly is the person who would be the most deeply affected by the Pruitts dying.
Oh, it's not all right. War is so meaningless. But my brothers, they made sure that we all kept our chins up. They would still want to keep our chins raised. I know. I'm proud of them. But all this, what it will take time.
I like to think that in another universe where Peter was not so terrible, that he and Moody would have a great time baking with each other. Maybe Moody's a good cook while Pettigrew's the good baker. It's like that old saying, like, if you're good at baking, you're not good at cooking. So they would complement each other.
Do you two like cars?
They're all right.
Well, if you ever own one, avoid the AMC Javelin. Unreliable engine.
That's called a nod to the audience.
I think I'd like to go home now. Kiss the twins goodnight.
I can't imagine losing a family member. I can. Serious.
James, I just wanted to say once more, you were brilliant.
We all were.
So what happens now?
Well, like Alistair said, we have a lot of work ahead of us. But I could use everyone's help with something. It's regarding the castle and this.
What about this?
Coming up with a solution to the Marauders map was my favorite thing to figure out. I really loved figuring out how that was going to work. Because I wanted to bring it back, But I also wanted to make sure that it got back into Filch's hands. And I was like, how would that happen? And I was like, what if James gives it back? And it's a symbol of him maturing, saying, I don't need it anymore. So he gives it back. And I was like, oh, perfect.
You know something we don't.
I know.
Gave my brother Gavin a cameo here, who is a voice actor.
On your knees.
There he is.
Snake. You betrayed us all.
There's only one traitor in this room, Malfoy.
I never betrayed anyone.
Lucius, where has he been?
This is all just fun, classic soapbox drama right here.
He's innocent. He didn't do anything.
I want you all to witness what happens to traitors. Shut up! Lucius Malfoy is self-absorbed.
Snape's like, I'm
In this
talking.
fight, he only has his own self-interest in mind. He has no true passion.
I have passion. My wife.
If you have proof of betrayal, Snape, then show it now and get rid of him. No, Severus, don't.
But even our most
This would have been fun to block.
should be under-
Because Snape is basically circling
Even our
him
most
right now.
loyal should be looked at more closely.
What do you mean, Severus?
On my way up to the astronomy tower, I was escorted by several Aurors. But several others attacked us.
That doesn't mean anything.
Every single Auror in this castle was under the Imperious curse.
So you're saying some of them were imperioed by someone else?
That's right. Saying things like, I don't have to do this. There's more to me than darkness. That I don't have to be a monster.
Severus.
I think this is like the last moment where Snape really gets his passions out.
My task.
Like
the last
and then it just never comes back to the surface until Lily's life is in danger. And then after Lily dies, he just goes back to that kind of like
that he's felt threatened
that
by my mere
that grumpiness,
by
that
my
silent
confidence
grumpiness.
and superiority in skill.
He's also being pretty arrogant here.
But only one person ever questioned my choices, ever seemingly cared for me.
This also just really points out how powerful Luther's betrayal was. He's basically like, here's why you shouldn't trust people. Snape is saying, here's why you shouldn't trust people. Because the people you trust are the ones that betray you.
Dobby the house elf in Luther Frumentar's chambers, performing a priori spell on Luthor's second wand.
He has a second wand.
It was yellow sparks.
I like the idea of the second wand. You never see that. No character ever does that. And I was like, let's have someone have a second wand.
That were fired the moment
Now, of course, there's a very important story-driven reason why,
as soon
but
as
still.
those sparks flew, I heard Alistair Moody call out, exclaiming they found our Lord.
If this was a visual medium, I totally would have had a scene where Luther uses two wands at once.
My boy. It leaves a mark. Please don't.
We're going to talk about this moment I'm going to pause it after it's over.
We saw you as a friend, as a mentor, as a father.
My boy. I'm sorry.
So am I. Avada Kedavra!
Okay, so I just want to talk about this moment real quick, because if you are ever in a position where you're directing and you are, whether you're dealing with an experienced actor or an inexperienced actor, there's a little trick that you can do to get emotions to come out in a real way. So the first time that Morgana did this scene, she was, we trust you, Luthor. We saw you as a friend, as a mentor, as a father. There was a lot of anger there. And I said, okay, so that anger needs to be put away at this point. Keep it on the inside, and when you speak to him, I want you to struggle with that coming out until the moment you start approaching him. And then I want you to basically stay professional. You are now a professional murderer. And I want you to speak to him with a lack of emotion as such, but just a tiny bit of compassion comes out of your voice. Because when you tell him honestly that you saw him as a father, that's love coming through. But you're about to kill him, so take those two things, put them together, and let's do it again. And she did it perfectly. It was like I only needed a second take, and I was like, that's it. There we go. Same with Bo, who played Luther, when he said, "My boy, I'm sorry." He kept saying it in ways that was like he failed, and I said, no, you didn't fail. You failed him. You failed Snape. And you feel like a father says to his son, you're not even looking for an apology. You're just letting him know that you love him. And then he did the take. He did it perfectly. So the lesson here is that both inexperienced actors and experienced actors in early takes will often portray the emotions that they think are necessary to express what they think is going on. And they're usually right as to what they're feeling, but human beings never, or almost never, express their true feelings. They hold a lot back. So if you tell them they need to hold back their emotions in this moment and why they're holding it back, but let a little bit of it through, like a tiny 1 or 2%, then you get that subtlety. Then you get that actual realism through putting a shield over your emotions that most people have. And that's what creates great performances. It's only when it feels like the right moment for an actor or a character to be completely vulnerable and let out grief, fear, anger in a big way. Those moments are few and far between. So make sure you pick them. Make sure you only choose the right times to do that. And very often, when a much quieter moment is much more powerful than a not so quiet moment or a loud moment or an overdramatic moment. Those moments, especially in something as intimate as an audio drama or a film, always pay off. And if you want your actor to do that, just tell them to keep it in, struggle to get it out, but don't let it out. Tell them why they can't let it out. And then tell them to do something a little different while keeping in mind their real emotions. So he was betrayed, violently angry, but then realized that there was something he had to do. He had to kill him. So he turned everything off, became a professional killer. And that's why that scene works so well.
Let him go.
And of course, every actor has their own way of doing things. And very often, actors will be like, here's why I did it. And I'll be like, well, that's not what I asked for, but I got something great anyways. So, great. Also, I made a man explode.
You will tell no one of this moment. You will find all records of Luther Frumentar and expunge them from existence. Anyone who speaks his name will be killed. Is that understood?
Yes, my lord.
So, another example. It's just been revealed that Luther got the best of Voldemort, and a bunch of witnesses have been given witness to this moment. So, Voldemort reacts by killing that person who just said that violently, not in Avada Kedavra, blow him up, and then I told him, this is the most angry Voldemort would ever get, and I want to hear it. Why? Because his worst fears are being realized in this very moment. All his allies are seeing his greatest weakness, a huge weakness on his part. So what does he do? He violently demonstrates his power and then tells anybody if they speak a word of him, they'll be killed. So yeah.
Come with me.
My lord.
Also, this picture of Snape with like these back muscles right here, they're so massive.
Had anything happened to me,
Some extra muscles show up when you perform the Avada Kedavra.
nonetheless, you failed in your mission. must be observed on principle. But for saving my life and discovering the traitor in our ranks, I believe that is all that is needed. Now, are you ready for your reward?
Reward?
Hold out your arm.
Love this music. So perfect. It's just this, so well done.
It is now official. Welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family.
Thank you, my lord.
Please welcome our newest member of the Death Eaters.
Well done, very impressive.
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you all.
So real quick, I just wanted to mention for writers out there, there's a very important concept you should look into. It's called, or it's a saying where it basically says, the lowest point for a protagonist should often be when they get what they want. The lowest point for your protagonist should be when they get what they want. What does that mean? In this particular case, it's when Snape becomes a Death Eater. Officially.
Bloody mess. I hope that's the last time the castle gets attacked like this.
Foreshadowing.
What is that? Hey, this is a Potter boy's parchment. It's different. It's got all these drawings. Oh, my, this is a map. This is a map of Hogwarts. Oh no. No, not one of you. Come here. I will not have a howler explode on my watch. Mr. Mash! Bloody hell!
I also love that Jordan, the sound designer, I said I need a sound to make it seem that this letter is about to explode. So what does he do? He adds a teapot making noise.
I hope we can still
Perfect.
hear anything after that.
That was pretty brilliant. I have to.
Also, I thought this was like the one time that I got to show the Marauders being pranksters.
So what are we doing?
I don't think I ever really did that in Snape and the Marauders or Wizarding War. So that was their one time to be pranksters. It was like their last hurrah. I think it said the stream disconnected briefly, but it looks like we're back. Let me know if we're back, real quick. Someone talk to me before I continue. Well, somebody said Mischief Managed and welcome to the family. Okay, cool. So we shall continue.
We need to go after the things we love, right?
Yeah.
Well then, I'll make this quick.
So this is an example of actually someone getting what they want. He wanted to marry Lily, but he didn't get there until he earned it. There's things he needed to experience in order to get to this point and earn Lily's love.
You can't, mate. The time we have had. Well, it's been the best of my life, and aside from a few bumps, I think it's been the same for you, right?
Oh my God.
And of course, this is your choice. I won't be offended if you aren't ready. But I am. So I'm just gonna go ahead and ask. Lily, will you marry me?
Oh, no, James! Mate, it's too early.
Yeah! Good on you, Bronx. Say yes, Lily.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I just love playing with Peter Pettigrew being like the most encouraging friend out of everybody. Just keep pushing that narrative so his betrayal is that much more powerful in the end, which we know is coming.
So, what happens now?
With you-know-who gone, the Order doesn't have its informant anymore.
Dramatic irony, you know who is not Voldemort, it's Luther. They can't say his name, but for different reasons.
Pretty much. But between you, I think Merlin that potion didn't take.
Right? Like,
I want to hear it from the
I got a few commenters saying, why would this potion even exist? And I'm like, that's a good question. And I'm not interested in answering it. I think everybody who wants to, who knows it exists is like, wait, why? And Voldemort is the only one who sees an opportunity.
Problem with the way the Dark Lord runs things.
Payoff. Build up and pay off. Big magic wall thing.
Why did the Dark Lord seem so tired? You asked too many questions, Goyle.
Also, Goyle, seemingly the stupidest of them all, is the one asking the smart questions.
Yes.
May I come in?
Also, a little bit of a subversion. You think Snape's the one walking, but it's actually Lucius.
Dobby informed us who Luther's second wand belonged to. It was his wife's.
His wife. She died of Dragonpox.
We've been checking on that. St. Mungo's has no record of her deaths or her death.
So, what happened?
I'm not sure.
At this point,
She and Luther lived
Snape
in an area
just
where Death Eaters and the Ministry fought several years ago.
is emotionless, and like his reactions are basically mere curiosity. But
Listen,
I always thought it'd be interesting to have this like quiet, almost nonchalant conversation be the most important plot point of all as to why Luther
for making sure I wasn't
was doing what he was doing.
wrongfully convicted.
It's not. I didn't want to portray it as a giant like
Rhyme looks good. I'm sure it will
giant
interest
whoa. I
someone.
wanted it to be kind of in passing. Because it's tragic. It's terrible. It just makes you feel so bad for the guy.
From the beginning. Perhaps if you hadn't.
You suspected me.
Well, you proved your word. Must be exciting being the Dark Lord's personal spy. By the way, I heard a rumor about Lily Evans. Word is she's getting married.
Also, he's just a dick. God, Lucius, you're a dick.
So you got a kiss on the cheek from Mary, huh?
It finally happened and I missed it.
I know.
Oh, you guys are so bad.
This was all improv.
I mean, you know what, Peter? I'm surprised your shirt's.
This is our last chance to have just an improv moment.
Stain on it.
It's a good shirt.
It is a good shirt.
Yeah, we were all wrong, and we owe you an apology.
I mean, it's still
only for the
butt
shirt.
ugly, but it's a good shirt. I guess it's got stain quality.
Well, this is my road.
Right, mate. We'll see you at the next order meeting.
I'll be there.
I want to know more about this baking talent of yours.
Baking.
Oh, yeah.
Well, next meeting then. Think the commune will join, Mooney?
Oh, they had enough fun for a lifetime. But I'm working with them on finding and recruiting more werewolves.
Sounds brilliant, my friend. Well, we'll see you when we see you.
James, I'm here to stay. It's good to have you all back.
Oh, you too.
Enjoy your night.
Good night, lads.
And this scene,
Good evening, Peter.
I sat on this scene both in terms of getting it performed and revealing it for so long.
You know you have
I just saw this scene in my mind's eye for years.
your friends could never possess.
Oh no.
I felt your mind, Peter. Behind all that petty fear and terror, I felt temptation. You wish to know more about this power, do you not?
Yes.
Great. It's just one little line. The way you say it means everything. I just remember telling Zach, you gotta mean it. You are interested in this power.
My lord.
Enjoy your night, Peter.
I love it.
Oh, goodness. What am I doing here? Oh, sweetness. Oh, sweetness. Oh, thank goodness you're home.
Love it.
Oh, come inside. Oh, I have some Turkish delights ready for you.
Turkish delights.
Turkish delights. The famed food of traders.
James, where did you put the pumpkins?
In the kitchen.
Have you carved them yet?
It's only been Halloween for 16 hours.
And then, of course, if anyone didn't notice, this was definitely me screwing around with the audience as to the fact that this is Halloween.
Yeah, I'm on
And
it.
it might have been the Halloween where James and Lily get killed. But it's not.
Oh, it's him.
Him who?
Serious?
Oh!
Good to see you, mate. You found this flat pretty quick.
Yeah, well, it wasn't terribly hard, you know? A lot of empty flats in Britain.
Good to see you.
So, I got something as a bit of a celebration for your engagement.
Oh, yeah?
Wanna see?
Oh, wow!
What is it?
It's a motorcycle!
It's a Triumph 650T Bonneville with sidecar.
You got this for
Took me a minute to research
I
what
didn't
bike
say
he
that. I
had
said I got it
according
to
to the
celebrate.
movie.
You got yourself
Also,
a motorbike.
this was a moment for me to go,
To celebrate
by the
our
way,
engagement.
Sirius didn't really grow up.
You wanna give it a ride?
No, well,
Like, even up to the
we have
point
to
of where
finish
he's in the
setting up
books, like, the
party
dude
and
never
get
fully
ready for
matured.
tonight.
Go on, you two. Give it a spin, but I'm next.
Are you sure?
Yeah. For tonight, all is well.
So, you trying for a kid?
What?
You've already surrendered yourself to adulthood. Might as well fully embrace it.
No, I am not interested in a kid with this war going on.
Yeah, all right.
Now we're, you know, foreshadowing the events to come in the first book.
Oh, bloody okay. What makes you think it's going to be a he?
You can't possibly want a girl.
It'll be better for my health.
Well, all right, but they're gonna need a name. So if it were a boy
or a girl,
what about in between?
What, like a unisex name?
Yeah, makes name choosing easier.
And that was a direct link to a short story that J.K. wrote for charity about this little mini adventure that James and Sirius had.
The Great Wizarding War was created with love and care by
David Vandenberg.
And now you get to hear their voices, their real voices, and see their faces. You know they're real people.
Shannon Estabrook as Minetta Radford. Ashley McKenna as Celeste Radford.
Ashley was so
and
great.
McKinnon.
That little moment where she has with James saying, like, you bullied my little brother and I would just appreciate if you apologized to him. Love that moment.
Hannah Brisbane
So
as
beautiful.
Bellatrix Lestrange.
Brizzy did an amazing job, as usual.
Katie Katulik as Electo Caro.
Katie enjoyed being evil.
As Alice Longbottom.
Justin
And it was great
as Frank Longbottom.
being a little power couple
Denise
thing with Liana.
Mrs. Pettigrew. Alison Hawkstone as Molly Weasley.
Mark Prendergast as Arthur Weasley and Argus Filch.
Michael Ostrom as Fabian and Gideon Pruitt.
Bob Joles as Dolohov and Albus
Bob Joles, man, did such a good job.
Bo Marie as Voldemort
And
Fremont
Bo Marie,
Luther
the ultimate voice throughout this thing, man. Those are the three credited voices. He was everywhere. So were other actors, but he was just incredible. And then I saved the original cast for last.
Kevin Allen as Sirius Black.
Zach Jaworski as Peter Pettigrew.
I love that shirt.
Paul Stanko as Goyle and Remus Lupin.
That one time when Paul had the
As Lily
David
Evans.
Thewlis stash.
Garrett Schweighauser as James Potter.
Morgana Ignis as Severus Snape and Peeves.
Sound design and mixing.
Morgana had such a
Jordan
great
King.
time playing Peeves, too.
Music composition by Alexander Arnson.
Sound engineering by Matt Cerritos.
Co-writers Justin Zagri and Garrett Schwackhauser. Producer Morgana Ignis. Director Justin Zagri.
That's it, friends. That is the end of our Wizarding World saga. And it was definitely bittersweet, and it was a really wonderful experience to have with everybody. I remember saying in the reaction video that, like, there were a bunch of motivations for making this series. One was there was unanswered questions from Snape and the Marauders. And there was a lot of fun things that I want to do in regards to writing. But a big one was just to continue working with my friends. So it was worth it. It was worth getting through this thing. It took way longer than I anticipated or expected, but we had a great time making it, and it was really good. So I'm down to take some questions at this point for the next 15, 20 minutes, or longer or shorter, depending on how things go. Just some upfront stuff. People have asked if we're going to do any more. The answer is no. I will say, long before JK turned out to be very bigoted and terrible, I knew that this is going to be the end of Wizarding World for us, because I wanted to move on to original stuff. Or if I ever decided to do fan work again, a different franchise. I was like, I just want to try some new stuff. I know what franchise I would do if I did do it. I'm not telling you what that is until I feel that if I feel passion again to make another fan film, I will. I don't ever want to stop myself from doing that, because like the best experiences I had were making fan films, because everybody's so passionate about it when they make it, and that was an experience I'll never forget. But also, on top of that, JK being super bigoted and shitty, I just can't do that anymore. Can't like really indulge in this world very much anymore. I'll always love the books, but going forward, after all that crap with her being so terrible with the trans community, I was like, okay, done. We're definitely done. So yeah, those are the main reasons. But I feel like the character arcs are finished. I've said what I've needed to say about these characters that I love so much. And now everyone can stop saying I hate the Marauders, because I don't hate the Marauders. How can I hate book characters? And another question is, it for the streaming games, would I play Hogwarts Legacy? The answer is no, because going forward, we're going to have nothing to do with her. There's lots of other games to play. So, let's see, what else? Maybe were there other questions that I did not see in here? I will check, but please do. If you have questions, by all means, I would love to hear. Why is Peter the only one supporting them to be married? Because he's a good guy and he actually really loves and cares about them. And that's why I loved writing writing him the way I did, because his eventual betrayal will be that much more painful. And also to give credence to Sirius Black trusting him to be the secret keeper. Let's see. Musmordra. I don't know if you would say Musmordra to put the dark mark in the skin. It's more like creating projection of the dark mark in the sky is what that spell does. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, not angry, devastated. Agreed. Snape wasn't angry, he was devastated. Totally. I don't know if Morgana's still here, but I wanted to tell her that a big motivation for creating Snape's arc and Luther as a character was inspired by the plot of Metal Gear Solid 3, with the boss being a stand-in for Luther and Snape being the stand-in for Snake, which is hilarious because Snake, Slytherin, you love it. Am I going to play The Witcher? Interesting. Good question. I love that game. And I know that the graphical upgraded version came out, so I could play it. I don't see why not. No, it's not a replay. It's live. Luna Moonblood, I'm here. I'm here. I'm live. We're here to have a good time. I was thinking about if I do the future D&D stuff, it might be recordings and not live. It's just easier that way. Maybe. I don't know. It's also a question of like, am I gonna do the tabletop stuff again? Haven't decided yet. Let's see. Thank you for the kind words, Luna Moonblood. I appreciate it. The people you trust are the people who betray you. Yeah, that's the truth. At least in good stories, that's what happens. It just depends on the story, right? Aw, Kisara, you just bombed me with 2 people, and I really appreciate you. I just finished the director's commentary of Wizarding War episodes 11 and 12. It was a great time. Had a really good time talking about it. And the series will always be near and dear to my heart. Poppy Playtime. Yeah, with Mummy Longlegs, it's really creepy. I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I appreciate that you're real people. That is greatly appreciated, and I mean that. So, I know what it can be like, where it's like, there are 7 people here, and you look and see who they are, and 5 of them are bots. And it's like, oh, great. I'm going to eat this. Yeah, I totally understand. But there's other fan films out there. I'm really surprised by how well Sisters of House Black has done. And that came out, excuse me, 3 years ago. And it's got 9.4 million views. But it's a good, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed their portrayal of Bellatrix. I am actually a fan of the horror genre. Yeah. I didn't always used to be a huge fan, but horror's grown on me because I decided to try making horror. That's actually the last 3 films I've shot were all horror. One was called Powerless. It was inspired by my experiences when I was first diagnosed with a disease called multiple sclerosis. It's a disease that at present has I've kept very much at bay. So I've been doing really good with it. And then I did another silly little quarantine project called Don't Wash Your Hands, which was also kind of horror. And then I did a horror comedy with Kevin Allen that I finished back in September, and right now it's going through all the film festivals, called Ouija Bro. But when it's done film festivals, I'll post it online for you guys to see. Yeah. Oh, well, I appreciate that my horror works make you jump. I haven't even showed you Ouija Bro yet, I don't think. Maybe I did. Also, Kisara, I was singing your praises with episode 11 when you played the Imperio at Auror and how great of a job you did. So I was going to talk about Snape saying he couldn't imagine living without his magic. Yeah, well, I kind of did, but that line alluded to a little bit of a afterthought when I finished the series as to how I wish I could go back and kind of better articulate the overall theme of the whole series. Because initially it was about war and how it affects people, but I knew there had to be a more personal aspect to it. And what I realized is that this was really about our characters exploring their identities after they'd been kind of shattered, especially James. And Snape, on a more subtle level, was still trying to figure himself out and wasn't sure how to proceed with his life. He wasn't serious about joining the Death Eaters. And this series was about him how he became a tried and true Death Eater, how he wanted to be there. And that was why Luther was created. To basically facilitate that character arc. And then with James, he kind of flounders, he wanders, he doesn't know what to do with his life, especially since he's conflicted. Like, Lily was barely talking to him due to the mistakes he made. And then he finds out his parents have dragonpox, which is a terminal illness. It's like finding out your parents have cancer. So he basically stops participating in the wider world because he thinks the right thing to do is to be with his parents. But it's mainly because he doesn't know what else to do. So the concept of something taking away your magic plays into the idea of, what are these wizards without their magic? What are they? How would that affect their identities? And that made me go, wow, the concept of a potion taking away your magic is actually massive on a thematic level. So I wish I played with the themes of identity a little bit more. And I wish I hinted as to what this potion would do a little earlier on. Partially by exploring what it means to be a wizard. And how special that is, and how wonderful that is, and how it creates superiority complexes in some people. But they all share this one thing. They all have magic. So it makes you ask more questions, like, why would these people be fighting with each other when they all have something so special? And even Voldemort himself later on said in the Deathly Hallows book, every ounce of magical blood spilt is a waste. Because he knows how rare and special wizards and witches are. So that's why I feel like I should have explored that more once I realized that line that Snape said, I can't imagine my life without being a wizard. I realized how important that was, and I wish I elaborated more throughout the series. So let's see. It's a funny thing, Alicia, I'm actually playing Final Fantasy 15 right now, and it's my first time. I didn't play it when it came out, but I'm enjoying it. It's actually pretty fun. How losing magic would be a little bit like being expelled. Can't do magic in the Muggle world, but you remember it. Interesting. Yeah, kind of. I think Hermione might have something to say about that. Is this my interpretation of how Snape quickly made his way into the Death Eater's inner circle? Because it was never explained. Yes. Yes, it was. I was like, I didn't see him 100% being a part of this cult or this group or this supremacist group emotionally until he got to a certain point. And also there was debate as to whether or not Snape had murdered anybody before Dumbledore. And I was like, he had to have. He had to have killed someone. So if he did kill someone, then I want it to be something that means that has a huge impact on his life. And that whoever he kills is someone that he kills with purpose. That he doesn't accidentally kill someone in war, which happens in war. He looks them in the eye and he does it because he wants to. And that's why, so that was my answer. It's like, could he have killed someone before? I'm like, yeah, he did. And so he knows what it takes to kill someone. And I feel that he dug into himself to get to that point so he could kill Dumbledore without suspicion. So my favorite characters to write in the series, I really loved writing pretty much all of them. I loved writing for Peter. He was so much fun. I loved playing the opposite because everyone knows that he's a traitor and a coward. And I'm like, What if I show him being brave? What if I show him being funny and friendly and the most loyal of them all? And how can I set it up so when he does make the betrayal, it makes sense? So for me to come up with a scene where Voldemort takes over his mind at St. Mungo's and Imperios him into taking on an army of Death Eaters by himself, I was like, that is perfect because it does two things. It puts the fear of Voldemort in him. It shows that Voldemort can take away all his control. And Voldemort demonstrates his true potential. Demonstrates just how powerful Peter can be. So Peter both feels the fear of Voldemort and is tempted by the power he just felt. Way more power than the Marauders ever showed him. So, figuring out Peter Pettigrew's arc and writing all of his little cute mannerisms and funny moments was just the best. I loved it. How did it feel to be directed by Garrett? Also, thank you. I love that you know what this is. I love that you know that the Niners shirt. Thank you. Yes, I love this shirt. I have a Niners hat right back there on top of it's hard to see, but it's there. I'm a big baseball fan, and I'm a big Star Trek fan, so the two together, that's why Sisko's my favorite captain, because he loves baseball. Anyways, how did it feel to be directed by Garrett? Did it change the way I wrote or how I viewed Frank? Interesting. So let's see. I purposefully wrote Frank and Alice Longbottom to not really have a major arc. They're there, and the way that I wanted them to be portrayed is very powerful. Not just magically powerful, but like they are powerful when they're with each other. They're a power couple. And the fun of this is to juxtapose what you see and hear versus what you know they will become, which is basically not invalids, but just complete shells of their former selves, because they get crucioed to the point of insanity, and it's terrifying, and it's so horrible. So I'm like, what were they like before? Like, what if they were such a great couple who were so good at magic that they could keep Bellatrix at bay, who I consider to be like almost as powerful as Snape, probably about the same level. That was important to me. So to answer your question, though, it was fun being directed by Garrett, because that was one of the first times that anyone had ever directed me. And he was great because he never really directed before either, but I really needed someone to direct, and he was a co-writer. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. 1 second. Oh, I didn't mute the right thing. Oh well. I meant to mute the mic. Y'all heard me doing icky nose things. Oh well. My bad. But he never really directed before. So the way he directed at first was to kind of like have long-winded explanations. And I was kind of trying to teach him, like, keep it short, keep it simple. And he took to that very, very quickly, and he got much better, much faster. And that was really a treat. But he also saw things differently in terms of how to look at characters, because he's an actor. He's a very, very good actor, very well trained actor. He still trains. So when he would give me and other people directions, in my head I was like, I see how to talk to actors very differently from him, but he's getting results, And that's what I think is so great about directing, is that there's no one right way to do it. Oh, excuse me. I'm sick, guys. It's some icky noises are going to be coming out. I apologize. I was worse yesterday. But there's no way, there's no one right way to direct. The only thing I can say is keep it simple, and the most important thing a director can have, not just with actors, but with the entire crew and with potential investors and other people that you have to work with, is to articulate what your intentions are. Learn how to do that in ways that anybody can understand and will get anybody motivated. Very, very important. And he was very good at like understanding a character's point of view as to their true motivations versus what they're portraying. Well, for me, I'm just like, you are expressing to the audience what you want the audience to see. So the audience might not know your true impression and your true intentions. So I don't necessarily want you to express those true intentions. So I might not always tell you what your true intentions are until it's time to express them, or at least struggle refraining from expressing them. Yeah, sorry, Kasara. So, fun fact, JP, about the defying Voldemort. The first time that James and Lily defy Voldemort is in this series. It's when Voldemort says, like, come to my side and I might consider your talents worthy. Give me the sword and I might consider your talents worthy of my time. That was the first time. The first time that Alice and Frank do it has either already happened or is yet to happen. That's another story for someone else to tell. And I love you too, Sarah. Yes. Learning to articulate what you want is... It can be tough for some people. For me, it just depends. Sometimes it's really tough. Other times, it flows. And when it flows is when I convince people. Is when I really get them on my side. Or I really get them to understand what I need them to do. So, that's when I really dialogue we got through. We got through a lot. Like 40 pages in one day, which is unheard of. On a really good day that's just dialogue, like the bar scene, that was about 11 pages. We got through all that in one day, but that was really pushing it. Like, I shot that with the intention of getting exactly what we needed in as few takes as we needed. Like, not like one and done. Like, let's have a few options, of course, but when you move lights around and set up lights and set up shots and everything, that takes time. With audio, everyone's in a booth, everyone's mic'd up, you just go. There's no physical blocking either. You just go. So you can get a lot done. And I had the unique pleasure of being in a recording booth, not recording anything I was doing behind the scenes, but being in a recording booth with Andrea Romano, who is a famous voice director. She's since retired, but her biggest claim to fame is Batman the Animated Series. She's the one who discovered Kevin Conroy, and watching her work was a treat, because not only was she very warm and on my end, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this thing. But voice directing was definitely a lot of fun and a very different experience, and something I'd like to do again. So I'm trying to see if I can find myself in that world, but I have to figure out how. Not exactly sure how. So we'll see. But anyways, this has been a treat. I was really glad to do this with you guys. Morgana showed up for a minute, and she had some things to say about her role. She did a wonderful job as Snape. and I had a great time making this. So I'm going to drink some tea, relax, try and get over this stupid cold, and come back to streaming games soon. I want to get back to it, and I want to get back to it regularly. So I'll let you guys know when that is. Hopefully next week, but we'll see. I'm still trying to decide what I want to do long term. So I'll get back to you guys with that. Anyways, have a great night. Thank you all so much for hanging out. And if you haven't subscribed to Twitch, please do. Twitch.com/BroadstrokesPlays. And otherwise, we'll still be on YouTube. We'll be around. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Love you all. Take care.